want to play a deck that lets you build up the board to the point where they can't answer it? Do you want to play a deck that lets you draw an insane number of cards over the course of a game to the point where you outvalue your opponent and they choose death? Oh, and they choose it again. They choose it again. So, what deck are we playing here? Well, you've seen part 1 of my video where I encountered the Asia server for the first time. You saw some arena highlights, you saw some ladder highlights, and you saw me open a few packs. Well, I thought, I want to get serious about this. Let's engage with the Asia server in a serious manner. So I built this deck. It's actually, I didn't build it. It was RDU that built it. So big thank you to him. It's his Totem Shaman. Now, I needed Karazhan. So I bought Karazhan to get Barnes and the Witch Doctor, Maelstrom Portal. This deck is all about totems. Build the board up with totems and then use Thunderbluff Valiant to buff them up and kill your opponent, or use Bloodlust. There is no Tunnel Trogg in this deck because I didn't fancy having to get to buy the adventure to get that. So there is no Tunnel Trogg. As I say, this deck does not need the Tunnel Trogg. It does not need Flame Wreath Faceless. It just needs board and totems. Bloodlust, win the game. You can control the board with Maelstrom Portal. You've also got interesting cards like Totemic Might and Primal Fusion to buff your totems up, or Primal Fusion to buff a minion up. There is Barnes in this deck. Hopefully could bring out something like a Ragnaros or an Azadrake for spell damage, or a Thunderbluff Valiant for totem value. Hex to control the board, and Blood Mage Thalnos for your lightning bolts and your Maelstrom portals. So let's have a look at this deck in action. Okay, starting off against a Warlock here, and we are rank 13 on the Asia server. This was day number 2, by the way, of my adventure on the Asia server. Not bad, getting to rank 13 at this point on day number 2. I went from rank... I started out at rank 18. At rank 18, I think it was, and I was playing this deck. So 18 to 13 with this RDU Totem Shaman. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Well, it may have been 17. I can't quite remember. Yeah, so this is my first proper attempt at a serious deck, if you will, on this server. Being serious about laddering up. And this is a Zoolock. So it ranks 25 to about 18. I saw nothing but Cthulhu decks. It was Cthulhu, 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 Cthulhu everywhere. But now, as you progress higher up, people are starting to play what I'd call more serious decks. Cthulhu Druid and Cthulhu Priest was actually quite common at ranks 25 to 18. More so than Cthulhu Warrior, surprisingly. But I think the pro perspective on the Cthulhu Priest and the Cthulhu Druid is that they aren't particularly great, that they're quite average, and that there are plenty of other decks that beat them. So now that we're rank 13, we're starting to see Zoolocks, proper decks, shall we call them? Anyway. Zoolock is going to do Zoolock things here. Oh, discarded the Doom Guard. Do you know, discard Zoolock is actually a deck that I want to make, but I'm a little bit scared in that, as you saw there, you end up discarding a card that actually you want to use later on. Discard Zoolock just seem a little unpredictable in terms of how the game goes, because, as I say, you could just end up discarding things that are useful, whereas traditional Zoolock has a little more certainty attached to it. And so maybe I'll make a discard Zoolock and a traditional Zoolock and see how they both fare on the Asia ladder. Anyway, let's see what this Zoolock's going to do now. I have a pretty threatening board here. Notice double Mana Tide Totem in my hand for card draw. So I can actually race him with card draw. It'll end up being my Mana Tide totems versus his hero power tap. That's going to be interesting. And for every totem we play, Thing from Below does get cheaper.
I wonder.
He's really thinking hard now about how to trade. Interesting. It's killing Barnes. Why would you kill Barnes and not the 3/4? Wait. Oh, okay, this card worked out. He did kill it, right. So he had plans of clearing my board. It's fine. I think we may just ponder Mana Tide here. Or we could draw a card with Azadrake. Azadrake is good because it's a body on the board. I call it a body play. Okay, a body play, a body on the board, rather than a spell play. And he has to double trade now to kill it. That's great value. Azadrake there ate up 2 minions. And now he's just trying to flood. Flood, flood, flood. He should have tapped first, I presume. But flood, flood, flood. Spirit Claws is interesting. Nice pickup, but we lost the Azadrake, so we don't get the spell damage attack power bonus, or whatever you want to call it. I was trying to work out there if I could double Mana Tide and Thing from Below. I can't. I'm missing a mana, so here I'm just actually pondering Primal Fusion. And the reason I did that, it doesn't seem like great value, but the reason I did it is he has to now invest even further to clear the Thing from Below. He has 5 attack power on board, so there's a lot of investment required now just to clear that. He may have Abusive Sergeant, he may have Power Overwhelming. I'm hoping he doesn't have those cards, so my Thing from Below can just go uncontested for a turn.
My shield for
Oh, the shield for Argus. So he can clear it. But, look, once again, eating up both of those minions, that's pretty strong. So, yeah, going card for card with the Zoolock, I'd say I'm coming out on top here, so far. But he has the board flood, and that is a problem. So, here, I could Thunder Bluff, play the hero power, see what I get. Or I could... No, I have to do this, right? Okay, Spell Power Totem. Thank you very much. That's what I wanted. Because now I can start chipping away at the board. Now, I killed the Defender rather than the Imp. Just because it represents 2 damage. The imps need to be cleared given the discard effect and that he can draw cards, but what are the chances he's going to draw into something that discards a card on this particular turn? Very unlikely, right? Okay, that's not discarding a card. And that's not a card discard either, so I think I made the right call killing the Defender, but of course he had Direwolf Alpha, which is annoying. Okay, didn't bank on that happening. But now, we can just play out our totems, I guess. Do we need to? I think we need the board, right? I may have positioned that slightly incorrectly, actually. Don't think it really matters, though. Because, yeah, I'd trade the Mana Tide in, then I'd trade the 3/6 into the Wolf. Yeah, and I could play Primal Fusion. No, it did not matter in the end. In the end, he saw the writing on the wall. There we go. And we're carrying on with our win streak. Okay, we're at rank 11 here. And we're going up against a Priest. Now, ranks 25 onwards, I saw nothing but Cthulhu Priest and Cthulhu Druid. So the question now, of course, is what kind of a priest is this? Is this a control priest playing Priest of the Feast? I presume so, right? Rank 11. You're not going to be playing Cthulhu Priest at rank 11. Now, you'd assume that Priest is a bad matchup for Totem Shaman because on standard mode, they have access to Holy Nova, they have access to Excavated Evil. Those are worrying cards, and I think you can take two lines here. Line number one, or approach number one, you play around that by not committing too much to the board at once in terms of totems or minions. Line number two is you just don't bother playing around it. You just flood, and hope they don't have it. Now here, because this is a priest, I'm not attacking face with the 3 attack weapon. I foresee there being minions that I will need to clear, priests of the feast, and so on. And I'm going to take this ever so slowly. I don't think rushing is going to do much, but what will do a lot for me is Totemic Might, because I can buff those totems up out of range of Excavated Evil and Holy Nova. That's significant, and with a healing totem up, well, if the totems take any damage, they'll just get healed up. But this is annoying. I think here, we've got to kill it, right? So we're going to use a totem. I'm actually going to use the healing totem here. I know I said it had value of healing out of range of things, but we haven't played Totemic Might yet, so initially I value the Spell Power Totem because of Maelstrom Portal if I draw it, or Lightning Bolt if I draw it. I think the extra spell damage is going to be significant, potentially. And there it is, Excavated Evil. He saw some value there because of the Flame Tongue Totem on the board. That makes me sad. But we'll just draw a card. So look at what I'm building up here. Double Totemic Might in my hand. This will all be about calculating a way to make a board stick in the future. Gathering all the cards I need and then playing them all out. Getting a board that sticks and then hopefully winning with Bloodlust. This is bad. This is really bad. This is Resurrect Priest. Control Resurrect Priest, I think is what you could call this. And it's bad news. Because he's going to play the Onyx Bishop, right? And he's going to get more Resurrect value. And he's going to get these 4/7s back to life. That's bad news. Those 4/7s are really hard for me to deal with. Really hard for me to deal with. I mean, I've used a Hex there, right? How else do I deal with them apart from Hex? I'd have to trade in minions. I'd have to use a Flame Tongue Totem. So is the correct strategy to race him then? Can we even afford to go the long game with this guy? I don't know if we can afford it. But, okay, so, Barnes, right?
Tonight, a tale of glorious redemption.
Glorious Redemption? Okay, I can live with that. It's spell power, right? And it lets me do this, it lets me attack in. That's good. Now, my health total is getting pretty low here, but I'm not worried about that. What's the priest going to do to burst me down, honestly? Okay, he's not an aggressive deck. He's also going for board control. And right now, I have board control. I absolutely have it. Excavated Evil does not clear much of that board. Just 2 minions. Holy Nova, same thing. So, maybe this is the board we need to kill him. Let's see what he does. Oh, wow. 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 That stopped us getting lethal. That stopped the Bloodlust lethal. Amazing. Ragnaros, if it only had gone face. And I don't think we have lethal now, because 4, 9, 10... 4, 9, 10, 10 plus 4 times 3 is 12, 22, 22 damage plus Primal Fusion. we can get, what, another totem out, so +2. It's not enough, right? I think we're one off. I think that's 24 damage, including Primal Fusion, so we're one off. So we need to just think of another line of play now. We can't get lethal. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Witch Doctor to get more totems on the board. And now I need to think whether I want to clear the Ragnaros or whether I just want to go face. No, we're going face. Let Rag snipe a minion. What's Rag going to do here? Even if he snipes Barnes or the 5/5, it doesn't matter. Bloodlust will still give me lethal. He needs to clear a significant portion of this board, and Holy Nova does not do it. Excavated Evil does not do enough either. So I think we win the game now, on this basis. That's not enough either. So he goes up to 15. He thinks he's safe, because he's counting the damage on the board. Okay, he's healing his face again, and he's saying, oh yeah, 6, 7, 8, 11. He's saying 11 damage. Oh, less than that on the board, he's saying. He thinks he's safe. 6, 7, 8. He counts 8 damage. I count a Bloodlust. I count a Bloodlust. But let's be fancy about this. Look at the damage. It is the attack of the overpowered totems here, with a bit of support from a Drake and a thing from below. Well played. That's how you do it. Fantastic. Okay. Another rank 11 game here. And we're going up against another Priest. I think Priest is an interesting class. People don't rate it at the moment. People say it's a very weak class. The thing is, if Priest gets the timing right with the Holy Novas, with the Excavated Evils, and the healing via the Priest of the Feast, plus the correct resurrections of the injured Blade Masters that become not injured, it can run away with the game. It can seriously run away with the game, and I've been watching a couple of tournaments recently where Priest has actually been doing some good work. As I say, just played correctly, and with a little bit of luck, it can run away over time. So, so it always makes me a little apprehensive whenever I see a Priest. I always think to myself, oh god, I always think to myself, no matter what I do, is my board just going to get cleared? Anyway, Elise, this is going to be an interesting game. He has the map, so he's going to play the Golden Monkey at some point. Unless I can kill him before that. And maybe that is something we'd struggle to deal with. The Golden Monkey and a handful of legendaries. Maybe with just 2 hexes in this deck, maybe I'd struggle, I don't know. So, I'm valuing keeping that board full with totems. And I want to get a little bit more value on the board there, just so I can activate Flame Tongue Totem to trade into something. He didn't do anything. Interesting. And I'm thinking here, now do I just go aggressive? Yeah, I think I just go aggressive here. Let's see if he's got Excavated Evil on the next turn. Because what I can do now is guard against it with Totemic Might. And I'm not attacking with my weapon. Maybe I should have. Because I've got another Spirit Claws in hand. Maybe I should have pushed. But does pushing 3 at this point mean anything? Does it actually mean anything, given the amount of healing he's going to have access to with Priest of the Feast? So yeah, playing around the Excavated Evil as best as we can there. This is a Dragon Priest, which is interesting. I was thinking Thunder Bluff, but we don't have 7 mana, so as a Drake draws me a card, Maelstrom Portal does 2 damage to that thing. I think I just Maelstrom here. And we'll use our face. Oh, that's really good. That is such a good card to get. 2/4. Wow. Okay, let's flood the board, right? Or do we flood the board? Yes, we do flood the board. Yeah, let's flood. And we kill that. So, saving the charges on Spirit Claws here, I think is important, simply because it lets me use my face to kill minions on the board, doing that 3 damage, meaning I don't have to be trading in my totems. I can preserve my totems at their health levels. And he concedes. Yeah, Holy Nova wasn't going to do it, Excavated Evil wasn't going to do it, and that's a concede from a priest. I'll take that. Okay, having a look at another game here, and we're going up against a warrior. Now,
The legions I command.
okay, so it's a Malchezaar warrior, presumably a control warrior then, playing Malchezaar. Now, one of the things with control warrior is they armor up forever, and with Malchezaar, I'm going to go to fatigue first. Okay, that's going to be a harsh reality of this game, because I can foresee Mana Tide Totems drawing me cards. It could be that I'll have to just try and push as best as I can to kill him before his armor gets out of control. The problem with pushing is Brawl. Okay, if I overcommit to the board, I risk Brawl. I risk losing my board, losing my totems. And remember, in this game, in this deck, totems are what matters, right? Totems are the key because of Primal Fusion, because of Thunderbluff Valiant, because of Bloodlust. It's all about the totems. And sometimes I think you can fool players into thinking that the totems don't matter. And then just go to town trying to clear your bigger threats like your Azadrakes or your things from below. But they keep the totems on the board, thinking they're not a threat, and then you just Bloodlust and win. But anyway, so far this warrior has done nothing, really. He's letting me build a board. And of course, it's one of the issues with control decks. Control decks, sometimes with expensive cards in hand, just end up with nothing to do for the first few turns, so they have to stall the game. What he is doing, though, is he's drawing cards, and with Shield Block, and Brawl is probably something. I have to make the assumption now that Brawl is in his hand. Okay. So I'm now putting pressure on this board. I'm putting a thing from below down, and I'm saying, how are you going to answer it? Because if you don't answer it, there's a very good chance that's doing 5 damage to your face next turn. And that's actually quite significant. He's really thinking hard about this. And by the way, Totem Golem, such an overpowered 2-drop. Such an overpowered 2-drop. For me, the overload didn't really matter as such. So if you can connect face with that, you're happy. If you can use that to trade into 2 minions before it dies, you're very happy too. So, Brawl? No? So there's Malchezaar. There's a Flame Tongue Totem. The question now is, do I commit? I think I do, right? I think I do. But how do I commit? Do I commit this way or that way? I think we go like this, yeah. What we're going to consider doing here is... we could still Hex, but I don't think that's worthwhile. We need to save the Hex for the big threats. So we can totem up. I was hoping for a healing totem. We didn't get it. And now we can Primal Fusion on something, and we'll get a +3/+3. The question is, what do I Primal Fusion? There we go. So what I'm doing there, I'm spreading my threats. I have three, count them, 1, 2, 3 big threats on this board. If he doesn't have Brawl, how does he deal with it? How does he deal with this? And would Brawl be such a disaster? If he Brawls, he develops nothing, and I have Azadrake next turn, which also draws me a card, as well as putting a body on the board. taking a little bit of a gamble here. Committing that Primal Fusion. So, as I say, if he has Brawl, it's a problem. Okay, I'll take that. Execute on the totem. And a concede. Wow, we are seeing nothing but concedes here with this deck because they can't deal with the board. And there we go, rank 10. So rank 18 to rank 10 in a day. I'll take that. I'll honestly take that. Yeah, not bad at all. RDU's Totem Shaman deck. Right, so thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I didn't really see much in the way of Ragnaros value in those last few games, but we did see Bloodlust value, we saw Primal Fusion value, we saw Totemic Might value in terms of guarding against AoE, we saw a little bit of Barnes value. So all in all, this is a very well-rounded deck. And in the end, does it miss the Tunnel Trogg? No. Does it miss the 4-mana 7/7, the Flame Wreath Faceless? No. In the end, it's all about the board, and it's all about playing Bloodlust at the right time, buffing up your totems at the right time, and trying, if you can, to get value off of the Wicked Witch Doctor. And if you can do that to build a board, you win the game. So, thank you for joining me. Please do subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed the video. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you all again very, very soon.